Okay, so we've got an SAT writing question here. And so number 8, the sentences are, the result was an explosion of mural painting that spread throughout California and the southwestern United States in the 1970s. It was the Chicano mural movement. And what we're supposed to do is we're supposed to choose the answer here that most effectively combines the underlined sentences into one sentence. And so what I like to do is I just like to get rid of one, get rid of a couple, just and eliminate the ones that I know aren't right, and that's going to make it easier for us to pick the right one. And so the way we can do this with most of these is just kind of read them aloud in your head and listen for, okay, does this sound smooth? Does this sound like something that I would say in conversation or that I would hear in conversation? And so for A, we got the result was an explosion, the Chicano mural movement of mural painting that spread throughout California and the southwestern United States in the 1970s. And that one obviously sounds a little bit clunky. And the reason for it is that we've got this noun phrase right here, which is the Chicano mural movement, in the middle of the sentence instead of generally the structure would be that you've got a noun phrase that you're trying to describe, and then it's called the appositive phrase, which is after it. And that's another noun phrase that's describing this first noun phrase. But in this case, it's just kind of thrown in the middle of the sentence with some commas around it. And that's why it sounds clunky. And so we can rule that one out, even if you don't necessarily know like why. Generally, just reading that one in your head, you can hear it just doesn't sound right. B, the result was the Chicano mural movement, an explosion of mural painting that spread throughout California and the southwestern United States in the 1970s. And that one sounds a lot cleaner. It's got this noun phrase that we're talking about, which is the Chicano mural movement. That is the subject. That's what we're talking about in this whole paragraph over here. This is what we're talking about. And so that's first, and then we've got that appositive phrase after it, which is generally the structure you want to follow. And so it's another noun phrase, but it's describing this first one. So an explosion of mural painting that spread throughout California, blah, blah, blah. But that's your phrase explaining the first phrase. And so that's the structure that we're looking for. So B is looking pretty good. I like B, but we can go ahead and look at C and D too, just in case. So C would say the explosion of mural painting that spread throughout California and the southwestern United States in the 1970s was the resulting Chicano mural movement. And it's not bad. That one doesn't sound as bad as A. It is correct. But again, the question is what most effectively. Sorry about that. The question is what most effectively combines the underlined sentences. And if I had to say which one most effectively combines it, I would say B over C, just because of that structure we talked about with the noun phrase we're trying to describe first, followed by the appositive phrase. And so though that one's not awful, I think we can rule it out just because compared to B, doesn't have that structure we're looking at. And then D, an explosion of mural painting resulted, and it spread throughout California and the southwestern United States in the 1970s. It was the Chicano mural movement. And it's very similar to C, but it's got this semicolon in here, and so it breaks it up even a little bit more. It sounds a little more clunky, and again, it's got this noun phrase that we're trying to describe after our explanation, our description of it. And so, if I'm a reader, I might stumble over that a little bit. My point, what I'm trying to get across, just isn't as clear. And so for me, I can pretty easily rule that one out as well and feel pretty good about choosing B here, which is the correct answer. So.